Okay. So 2.3 or 2.2.
Yep.
Sorry. So it looks like for the first 1, 2 problems, we only need to come up with 3 to 4 use cases and provide a short little description. Number 3, we have to do the use cases and a scenario. 5, we need to do just a scenario that's different from the one in the book. And then 5, we just have to do a scenario. So should be pretty quick.
Sounds good.
So why don't we just start with the first one and let's go over the use cases we came up with.
So I came with that one. It was telling time, setting an alarm to aid in waking up, and then I said listening to the radio.
Okay, I also put setting an alarm to go to bed because that might help us sleeping. What?
It's spilled.
It's spilled. We'll go pick it up.
I just put that. I mean, that kind of the same along lines of that. Just peace of mind, knowing that he has his alarm set and that it can wake him up in the morning. But
Over there. You can.
I think all of those are fine. I mean,
Would okay, maybe I'm being silly, but would hitting the snooze button, would having that snooze button, hitting the snooze button be a?
I think it would be a use. Yeah, that's a use of an alarm.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it needed to go specifically with. I don't know. I was thinking. I guess what I was thinking is that my son would always have a hard time waking up because he would hit snooze so many times that he would just go back to sleep, and eventually just ignore the alarm. So
That's me.
for me, I just kind of like, oh, snooze button. That might be part of the problem, but
Right, but I'm wondering, the persona itself says that he's a night owl, and as a result, he never gets enough sleep and finds himself drowsy while on the job. So it almost, to me, seems like he gets up okay, but he goes to bed really late, so he doesn't have enough time.
But are we just doing the uses of the alarm clock?
Yeah, I think so.
Button, like, would
yeah,
be
I thought it was just the uses of the alarm clock.
That's right. I'm sorry. My brain. I was thinking one of the other questions. I just outlined this, and my brain just totally got rid of my outline. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just making sure I understood it, right? I mean, that's kind of just making sure that that's how I thought we were supposed to do it. So I just wanted to make sure that's what we were doing.
Yeah, no, we're good.
I think we're just supposed to mark which one would be the most important.
Yeah. And obviously waking up, using it as an alarm.
That's what I said, was setting an alarm to wake up would be the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get a garbage salad?
Okay. So then, I think we're all in agreement on that one, right? So, I mean, that was all we had to do.
Yeah, that's all we needed to do. Does someone have that written up already with the sentences that we could just pop in?
Popping it in right now.
Yeah,
Okay. I just wrote mine on paper.
I'm not sure specifically what we needed, but I have some sentences that go with it. But
Okay.
what?
I just put in what I had on the doc we started.
What about it?
Gotta go find another one. This one's mine.
Were those in your room?
Okay.
What are you asking me?
All right. Next one is
The CB radio.
You have a top sheet on your bed, sweetie.
Nikki. Go sit
Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry.
I know the feeling.
Yep.
Yeah, but yours are little, and that makes sense. I mean, mine that just came and asked me a question is 11. Like, oh.
Got it.
Okay, so for the CB radio, once again, it's only the use cases and which one's the most important. So my use cases were communicate traffic conditions to fellow trekkers, contact with the dispatcher, pass the time, and then communicate weather conditions.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have. I just mine are, I mean, I don't have all of those. I actually only have 3. I mean, mine was just like talking to other trekkers, etc. Like, so communicating while on the road, getting weather alerts, and then using in emergency situations is what I have. So I don't know.
That's basically what I have too. Ask for directions. I mean, you know, just basically communicating, but I just wrote it in different ways, asking for directions, keep someone to keep them company, and then weather, you know, road conditions ahead.
Yeah, I just know, I'm pretty sure they can get actual like weather alerts from, you know, actually like weather stations and such. So if I remember correctly, maybe I'm wrong, but.
Oh, stations on the CB.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff on CB radios. And then quite often you'll just get on and say what you found in case people are driving the same way as you.
Oh, got it.
And so then I put that the most important, I would think, would be communicating weather and traffic and road conditions.
I agree. For up ahead the road, like what's going on in front of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it does say the most important scenarios, so I think we can have an asterisk on both traffic and weather and be okay.
Yeah, I just have a sentence. I'll put we instead of I.
Come on. Go on.
Okay. The cordless drill.
I'm not gonna lie on this one. I had a little bit of harder time because a framer actually uses a nail gun. So our situation was hard for me to write something up because if a framer really uses a drill, that would take forever. So,
You're right that a framer, I thought of that too as I was doing, wait, no, a framer uses, to frame a house, it is a nail gun.
yeah.
But a construction worker will use a drill on certain things.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Not necessarily in framing the house, but I went ahead and wrote my scenario based on that persona, assuming that persona was right. So my use cases were to drill in a screw, remove a screw, replace the battery, and then charge the battery. I mean, I don't know what else you do with a drill.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about the battery, so I just I said just drill a hole, screw in a screw, and unscrew a screw.
That's
You
what
could
I
also
said.
drill a hole. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that to make a pilot hole.
Yeah.
So I think we all are.
I didn't even think about like the battery part. I didn't add that in.
Do we want to leave those in? Or do we think that that's
Leave what in? I'm
superfluous?
sorry.
I wouldn't say they're a use case necessarily. I mean, you're not going to use the drill just to charge the battery. You're going to use it for drilling in a screw and drilling a hole and unscrewing. You're not really going to use it for the battery.
That's
I don't
true. It's something that can be done with the drill, but I don't think it's something the drill is used for. So I think.
Yeah.
Well, but when they did their use cases, installing the switch was a use case.
Oh.
Installing the switch was a use case just as it was flipping the switch. That's why I did those, but that's fine. We have 3 with drilling in a screw, remove a screw, and create a pilot hole.
Yeah, I mean, I think we only needed 3, so I think that's fine.
Okay.
So my scenario was just that the framer was building a chicken coop, and so he thought the nail gun would be overkill. 'Cause I had a hard time with that. So he was using a drill. And so anyway, I just wrote something up. So I mean, I don't know whose we want to use or whatever. I'm sure all of ours is fine. Like, as far as the scenario goes. I don't know.
See, I just went with framing a home just because that's what it said, even though I know that you don't necessarily use a nail, that you don't use a drill, but oh wow. And so in my scenario, it talks about him. I shared it with you guys. I didn't talk about making the hole though, but I talked about all the use cases that I came up with.
Right, but aren't we supposed to pick one use case and provide a scenario?
No.
No, maybe not.
You can use more than one use case. If you feel like a use case isn't like key value to it, then you wouldn't use it. But like the scenario that they created for the scripture thing used 2 use cases.
Okay. Oh, it just says, please write a scenario for a cordless drill. Begin by identifying 3 to 4 use cases and settle on a single use case that provides the best lens on the usability of the drill. And then finally write a short 4 to 5 sentence scenario.
Oh, so it says just one.
If it was on just one, or if that meant just identify just one, but then your scenario can have all. Like, it was confusing. So I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that. Because even in the example they gave, it wasn't just one.
Right. So, I mean, I would think that you could have multiple, because the one I wrote for the stopwatch, I didn't have to write a list of use cases. I just had to write the scenario. But in it, it used several different use cases. So I think we're fine to have several different.
Yeah. So I don't know if either I copied into this the remove a screw, drill a screw, create a pilot hole. I don't know if Sarah or Miranda, if one of you two want to plop in what your scenario was.
Yeah, mine's just written out on paper, but I can type it up.
Yeah, either way. But like I said, mine's about him using it to make a chicken coop. So if you think that's fine, anyway.
It's probably better because I'm the one that did that, and I was, I'm the one who put the, framing the house, and I knew that too. But I was just thinking, construction worker, they use a drill, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I realized too that I'm like, yeah, that's not exactly accurate, but
we'll go with it.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
So if one of you want to do, I can copy over what I wrote, and then you guys can change it into what you want, or we can just leave it blank and one of you can put in what you wrote.
Either way, do you want, I don't care which one I take. I can take this one or I can take the next one. It doesn't matter to me. What do you want to do?
Because Melissa already wrote the scenario for the last one on our shared doc.
I actually didn't even do that one. So I think hers was fine. So Miranda, did you want this one or do you want, the scripture one? I don't know who will take that one, but.
Oh, I can take this one. It's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sort of sounded like to me with the scripture one that we needed to create oh God, my chair's all messed up. A scenario using different use cases than what they chose. Because in their scenario, they specified certain use cases, and I felt like we needed to pick different ones so we weren't just copying their scenario. So, yeah, I picked the use cases of being able to leave where you're reading and come back to it, and then being able to search up by topic.
So I actually have been using President Nelson, like in not just this conference that was this weekend, but the time before, he was talking about studying the life of Christ and using like the topical guide and reading all the scriptures. And I've actually been doing that. So I just kind of wrote up a scenario of like, because I love it. I usually use like my phone or something, you know, like where you can just click on the scripture reference. And instead of doing it by, I mean, I've had to do it a couple times just with my real scriptures, and it's so much faster to, you know, use the topical guide, like where you can just click on the scripture. So I just wrote up something like saying that. So she's taking advice and reading about the life of Christ and the topical guide and going by each section. And so, I mean, that was my scenario.
So
That
more
sounds like a
because
great
it's
scenario.
that kind of thing.
What'd you
Rather than going the Sunday school route, you went this is what she does for her early morning to read.
Yeah, I mean, it says the evaluation criteria for a topical guide feature for a mobile application. So I just put she likes to study her scriptures, her personal scripture study using the topical guide. Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So I haven't typed it up, but I can type it up and right after we get done with the meeting.
Yeah, because I mean, it mentions in the persona that she's reluctantly started bringing it to church. Maybe you can add in the persona that now that she's reluctantly started to bring it to church, she's realizing how useful it is and now uses it at home for her own personal study.
Yeah.
And then kind of go into your topical guide, how much easier it is. I don't know.
And now that she's so comfortable with it at home, she's willing to take it to church.
Sounds good. Yeah, I can do that.
You know, she feels comfortable doing it from church too.
Yeah.
So I think that has that done.
Yeah. And the stopwatch one, I mean, I already read what you wrote, and I thought it sounded great on the Google Doc.
Okay. I didn't know if anything needed to be changed. I just figured since I had that one last time, I probably should write that one up.
I think that works.
Yeah. I think so too. So awesome. I think we're done. So the next week's, I didn't quite understand what we were even supposed to do. Do we just have to list like the list 8 variables of usability and then each one just kind of write like how that would work for the CB radio, or you know what I'm saying? Is that, I haven't done it yet.
Right. So
On this next one, do we all want to go through and do everyone, or do we just want to go ahead and say, everybody look at it and have ideas and be able to help each other, and then pick which one we want to add to the final document now, or?
I mean, I think we can work on it now. If I know Maria, don't you have to leave in 15 minutes?
I don't have to leave until a little after 11.
I'm just saying the next assignment, there's 4 problems. There's the CB radio, cordless drill, topical guide, and the alarm clock.
Oh, so we can each just take the one that we've been working on. So like I could take the topical guide and Melissa could take the stopwatch one.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to do that.
Aren't we doing different? If each one does something different though, right? Or don't we only do, because then
only one of them
that means that one person has to do like the whole rubric thing and figure that out, and then some people just have to do the usability, things of usability, right? Aren't there different things that need done?
Well,
There's
2
that have the whole thing and one that doesn't.
Yeah, the CB radio is the only one that doesn't have the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I couldn't. Sorry, I was trying to pull it back up, and I'm having issues getting.
So the CB radio, it's the 8 variables, and for each variable, list a couple criteria. And then the other ones, it's the variables, personalize the criteria, create 5 to 10 criteria that capture the essential characteristics of the drill, and make a rubric from the criteria.
I feel like they put 2 and 3 in the wrong order. You have to kind of create the criteria before you can prioritize it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just follows the example in the book. Just watch your movie. Okay. One sec.
So, I mean, it's not quite a fair split. There's some that are more than others. But,
a second.
I mean,
Do they have an example problem of this?
yeah, I mean, in the story and the thing, it walks through it. It creates criteria. So on page 72, it goes through the variables, whether they apply or not to this login. And then it creates priorities and a rubric. And then it talks out the whole rubric.
So we actually have to make that little chart, like the...
Yep.
That seems like a waste of time, but okay.
The rubric.
I really have a hard time with this class. It's fine. It just seems like so much busy work. Like I don't know. I feel it's fine. I mean, I get that it's like we have to do assignments, but it just seems like so much stuff that is not even, I don't know.
I agree.
Sorry. What did I
agree. But
okay.
I just feel like for all of our sakes,
go ahead.
Creating the full rubric 3 times is going to take all of us an insane amount of time. I thought it was the full rubric on all 4 of them.
Just on 3 of them.
Yeah. And I just think that would be a little insanity.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that the one rubric made up and we can just change it to, you know, like, I mean, do they look like they're kind of the same, the rubric, as far as
no, because you have to customize the writing within the rubric to how it applies.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it might be similar, but you have to customize it. Well, then what if we...
The scripture one already kind of has a rubric on here. And it looks like, I mean, I wouldn't change much on that, to be honest, than the one that they already have. Because there's already a rubric for the scripture one.
Oh, yeah, they did the whole scenario with the scripture one.
Yeah,
that's
what
weird.
I was trying to find out. I actually asked the teacher, and she said, because I was like, you know, 2.3 also has the same scripture one, and they did that in the example. And this is what she said. She said, use the same persona as problem 4 in 2.2, but you will use the scenario you created in problem 2.3. The example in the book may be similar, but will probably differ in some ways because of the scenario you defined. So because it won't be Sunday school, it'll be...
Yep. But I'm looking at the rubric right now, and it's just talking about speed and finding scriptures and the relevance of the scriptures. So I think the rubric would work. I mean, we will have to ask, but I don't see why we would
have to alter the rubric too, because the rubric is to be weighted based upon what like features and criteria are important to us. And because of the scenario we're writing, different features are going to be important.
Yeah,
I see that now. So,
kind of thing.
Okay, then why don't we? I don't know. I'm just dreading making the actual rubric. Do we want to get through the 1, 2, 3 on all of them, and then once we agree on everything, make the rubrics?
Sure.
So maybe,
or do we want to? Everybody go.
Or how do we want to do it? Sorry.
Go ahead, Melissa. I was talking when you were talking, so I couldn't hear you.
No, I overrode you. You go ahead.
No, I was done with what I was
So
saying.
you're just saying right now, let's just work on like the variables for each problem. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, because as we go, we each either have to all agree on what the variables are for the rubric. I mean, it sort of is like either we have to work on it step by step together, or one person has to have ownership for each question. We can't take like my variables with your rubric because I might put different variables in and that alters what rubric I would use.
Right. Okay, so are we each going through each problem and only doing the variables and the criteria and possibly even the priority, and then meeting together again to go over all of those? Or are we splitting it up, one question per person, and then we come together and come up with the rubrics together? I'm trying to understand how we're doing this.
That's what needs to be decided.
I'm good with either.
Sorry, my kids are losing it, so I missed even some of that. I was trying.
You're fine. We're just trying to decide
Actually,
whether we're
just one kid is losing it, but
One is enough.
uh-huh.
How do you want to break up this next assignment that's coming up?
I'm really fine with anything. Honestly, I don't know. I guess just if everyone just take one of the problems, I guess it just seems to make the most sense, right? But then do we have to make sure everyone has, unless we, hold on, look, just a second.
Well, see, if we do it to where we're only listing the 8 variables of usability and giving a couple criteria, and then the 3 other problems that we have to prioritize, if we only go that far, then we're all doing the same amount of work, and then we come back and everybody works on the rubrics.
Okay, that sounds good.
Fair.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
So everybody take one and do the first 3 pieces on one, and then we come back for the rubrics.
Okay. Should we take the one that we did the scenario for on the last one?
Okay.
So Sarah, you'd be okay with doing the scripture one?
Yeah.
And Miranda would take the drill?
The drill.
And Brittany would take the CB. That sound okay, or?
That sounds fine.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Anonymous dinosaur. Did you just type that, Melissa?
Oh, the Brittany?
I was.
It has you as anonymous dinosaur. And somebody else is an anonymous pumpkin.
Oh, that's funny. So because you created it, I can see that it's you. It's got your picture, but then everybody else is anonymous. I'm good with that.
Do we all want to be able to see this within our drive so we don't have to search for it?
I have mine in my drive, I think. I think I moved it to drive.
Okay.
Like, are you talking like when we're working on it? Should we just all use that Google document? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I created a 2.3 and the 2.3.
Yeah.
Not use the 2.2 that's not like just mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, are we working any more together? Or are we just gonna go? Because I can type this up. Go ahead, Sarah.
I think that we're done once we get those two typed up for today.
Yeah, so if we can get the scripture and the power drill typed up, the personas. Or
Scenarios.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll get on that.
So, yeah, that's all we need for today's assignment because we got everything else. Oh, and then we decided aid in waking up was the most important on the radio, right?
Yeah.
Did we?
I'm just putting a little asterisk next to it because it says identify the most important. I mean, it says scenarios. I could see setting an alarm to go to bed too would be important, but maybe not for. I just meant specific for the persona, but I think.
Did we decide what the most important one was for the drill?
I would say screwing a screw.
Probably screwing a screw. For me, the most important, because when I was using it, we didn't use any screws, and it was drilling a hole to put sticks through. So, but I would think most people would use a drill. Well, I don't know, because can you? No, yeah, I guess you can use it. Yeah, the most important probably would be the screw, because you probably either screwing or unscrewing, because either you've got a stubborn screw that you can't get with a regular screwdriver and have to use the drill, or you want to be really fast with screwing a screw in. So probably both. I think we can have two.
Yeah,
So I should do both then? Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Yeah, screw and unscrew.
Okay. Ah, I can't spell. Do I? Oh my goodness, I really can't spell. Are we just using asterisks then, or am I writing a sentence for it?
You could write a sentence for it. I put asterisks on it, but you could probably write a
Okay.
little sentence and then go.
There's also a sentence under the CB and the alarm clock.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Oh. Can't be. Goodness.
And this is due tonight, right?
Yes.
And Melissa, you like being the one turning it in? We're not.
Oh, what did I just do?
By the way, we don't have to put. Oh, sorry for the drill. Do we have to write up a persona? Because it says, please use the persona you developed in the previous lesson. Do you have to write up a quick little persona for him?
What did it?
Because I know the scripture one already has one. And I wrote one up for the stopwatch because it didn't give me one.
Did it just want?
And I created a persona for the CB radio. So we might want to create a quick persona for the cordless drill.
Okay.
Yeah, we just put the user put together a frame of a house. We put that in to help make the persona. And then you can get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't even write a persona up for that, so I'll write one up and get that in there too.
None of us wrote one up last
Oh,
week.
okay.
The rationale label, and we're like, oh, we need one. Okay, here, let me just.
Oh, okay.
This person is this Sage, and this is his name. And
Okay.
so. Why is there a random ew?
It was probably my computer was doing something weird, and I was trying to figure out where my cursor went, and it jumped around. Yep, it was me. It was the end of the word screw, and I'm like, where did it go? And I tried hitting Control Z, and it didn't change anything, so it was me.
Okay.
I took it out.
That's hilarious.
I was trying to figure out, no, I had like hit my thing, and the cursor jumped, and then I'm like, where's my cursor? Anyway, yeah.
No, that's hilarious. I was just like, wait a second. The top of problem 4 says ew.
Yeah, that would be me. That's why I usually just do it in my own thing and then copy and paste because, yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So, okay.
Okay. Are we good?
sounds good. And then when are we meeting for this 2.3?
It would have to be tomorrow for me because I'm gone Friday and Saturday.
Okay. I think that's probably good enough time. Do we want to meet at 11 again, or do we want a different time?
11 works for me.
Works for me too.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll have kids home again. But I will lock myself in my room. I guess that's what I should have done in the first place because that's what I just did. So
Banish yourself to your room. There you go.
yeah. Dang it, I'm in a timeout.
I have an office, and my kids know that when my office door is closed, they don't come in. But it has glass on it. It's the French doors with glass, so then they peek in. And they try to send hand signals to me.
Well, yeah, one of mine wasn't coming up and talking to me, but she brought me a sign that she had written down all this stuff. What do I do with this skirt? They're supposed to be cleaning their rooms. What do I do with this skirt if I don't want it anymore? I'm like, oh goodness. I appreciate you not talking, but still.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I swear they always need mom, no matter what.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So, okay, well, we'll meet tomorrow at 11 then.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
I will. If I don't get this all in right now, I'll get it done right after I'm done with my appointments this afternoon. So if I don't get it all right into the thing, but I'll have it done by then. So.
Okay. Yeah.
And Melissa,
let me know when it's done, and I'll.
Okay.
you want to be the one turning it in, or do you want us to take turns turning these in?
I guess I'm fine with doing it because then it gets my little checklist off. But they also said I could turn in a dummy file. It really depends on if I'm giving any of you anxiety by me being the one turning it in.
I absolutely don't care, but I don't want it to be a burden that's on you that you are the only one doing it. I will gladly turn it in to take that off of you. But if you prefer to be the one turning it in, have at it.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be the one because then in my brain and in my schedule, I can say I did it. Because if one of you did it and I'm like, wait, did it get done? Where is it? And wondering might be terrible.
But I find it so weird that this class isn't set up this way because one of my classes last semester that had group work, we would turn something in as a group and it would show up under all of us.
Huh.
I could see that the group assignment got turned in. So I don't know how that was set up differently than this was, and I don't know why all group work isn't set up that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
Because-
before I forget, there's a discussion board for when we get to projects, I think it's 5 or maybe 4, that we have to start turning them in on a discussion board, just so you know that there's a discussion board there to look for.
Okay.
Oh yes, I did see that.
I totally came upon it. I was like, why are there 45 things on here? Am I not subscribed to this? Because normally I subscribe to each of the discussion boards, so I always see what's going on. But I hadn't done it for that one. So I was like, oh, this must be a new one that she just added that I didn't see.
So there's a new discussion board coming up?
There's a discussion board for each of the projects for, I think, 4, 5, and 6, I think.
It's for it's for our projects, not for these things. It's for when we when we are into the project.
Yeah, for the individual project. I wanted you to be aware of it because I was like, oh, that's a surprise. She didn't send an announcement out. I wonder how many people are going to see this. She'll probably send an announcement out when we actually get closer. But anyway, sorry.
No, thank you.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay.
So I wrote mine up. I think it's fine, but you guys can read it over whenever and let me know. And I'll be working on it tomorrow. So.
Oh, I see it now. Projects 4, 5A, 5B, and 6.
Do we have to do these problem scenarios throughout the whole semester?
I think
I mean, once we start working on those, like the actual website more, do we still have to meet together and do all these?
Yep, there's problem sets throughout.
Okay.
Week 11, there's still
It's-
problem sets.
Are they still problem sets, or maybe
Yeah.
they just lower down to 1?
Do these problem sets with your group.
Hopefully they get easier though.
Okay.
I have a feeling though they're gonna build off of the variables of usability and the variables of and all that jazz. There you go.
Yeah.
Put your hand through the hole that way. You can't reach it. There you go. You get
Okay.
I don't know. I think everything builds on one another. I was looking through the book and I'm on unit 3 and they're still using like the variability, the usability things. So
Okay, so 11 o'clock.
they might 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay. I have so much to do before I leave town.
Sarah, this looks good, by the way, in my opinion.
Well, I'm nervous about that thing due on Friday. I just feel like it's busy work and I am not looking forward to doing it at all, but I'll throw something together, but I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
nervous too.
For you guys who are leaving out of town, that's because it's, due this weekend.
Well, let's do Saturday.
At 5. Yeah.
Oh, for me, it's Saturday at midnight.
Yeah, it does say Friday at 5 on the, or it says Saturday at 5. That's not right because on the iLearn itself, it says due at 11:59.
October 7th at
does it?
11:59.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting kicked out, so I don't know if I'm missing important things or not. Or not
No,
kicked
you're
out.
not.
Mine keeps freezing, so.
No. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.